Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you all had a good night, whatever you got up to last year. Wishing everyone the best for 2024. I hope it is a great year for all of you. I hope, it brings you happiness. Everyone stays healthy and all the rest of it. But we are here today, obviously, to talk about Manchester United, and we've got a massive show to bring you guys today. But before we do that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We hit 21,000 subscribers a couple of weeks ago, which is absolutely crazy. We only started the channel about 5 or 6 months ago. So massive shouts to all of you who supported the channel in 2023. Let's see what we can do in 2024. So yeah, please do support the channel if this is your first time watching. On the show this morning, we're going to be doing a bit of a preview ahead of the January transfer window. We're also going to be talking a little bit about an apparent meeting that's taking place in Manchester today with Jim Ratliff flying in to Manchester for talks at Carrington. We will be discussing that. We're not entirely sure exactly what these talks are going to be about, but we will, obviously have a bit of a conversation around it and try and get to the bottom of that. We'll also be talking about some new contracts that have been handed out and a potential exit for Raphael Varane. As always, I invite you to have your say on all things Manchester United in the comment section. So do get in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. Let's start off with this story about Raphael Varane then. So this story broke about 24 hours ago. And the headline is this: Manchester United have decided against triggering an option to extend Varane's contract by 12 months, leaving him free to hold talks with foreign clubs over a summer transfer from tomorrow. That's obviously from today. Now, I've done a bit of digging on this, and the reason why Manchester United haven't triggered this option is because ultimately they don't want to continue paying him 340 grand a week. If they were to trigger this option, it would mean that they were paying him 340 grand a week till June 2025. Obviously, he's got 6 months left on his current deal, and there was an option to extend for one more year. Now, from the information I'm receiving this morning, Manchester United do want to extend his contract, but for 2 or 3 years on lesser terms. I think that makes sense personally. I think, there's no reason to trigger this contract extension because nobody's going to give him 340 grand a week anyway, other than the Saudi clubs. So for me personally, you may as well just wait a little bit. Varane apparently wants to stay at Manchester United. United want him to stay, but they want to try and reduce his wages. They'll maybe give him a 2 or 3 year contract, but on, say, 200 grand a week. I think this story got blown out of proportion a little bit. There was obviously a lot of people saying it's a disgrace. Varane's going. He's going to go for free. He could, in theory, go for free. That is a possibility, all right? I'm not going to completely dismiss that. We are running the risk that, a Bayern Munich could start now negotiating with Varane and he could sign a pre-contract agreement, which would ultimately mean in June 2024, which is now only 6 months away, he could leave for nothing. That is a possibility. But from what I'm hearing this morning, Varane wants to stay. United want him to stay, and they are now negotiating a new deal, a longer-term contract, probably somewhere around 2 or 3 years on reduced terms. So I'll be happy with that. I think that's the right thing to do, to be honest. I think to continue paying him 340 grand a week is just simply not possible. When you think that we're not in the Champions League, we're not going to probably be in the Europa League. We're probably not going to win any trophies this season. Our money is going to diminish over the next 12 months. It really, really is. Now, obviously, Jim Ratliff's coming in and he's investing, I think, 300 million into the club, which should make our financial fair play situation a little bit better, which is positive. But still, Varane's on 340,000 a week, right? That's nearly 18 million per season. When you think that he's got 6 months left of his current deal, so that's 9 million, and then you're guaranteeing him another 18 million. You're ultimately giving Varane £30 million for a season and a half. I mean, that to me is just absolutely stupid. So, obviously, there is a bit of a risk by doing this. He might leave as a free agent, but I'm not massively worried about it, to be honest. I think he'll sign a new contract. I think it'll be on reduced wages. And if for whatever reason that doesn't happen and say Bayern Munich come in and offer him 350 grand a week, then you know what? Well, they're welcome to him because I don't think he's worth 350 grand a week. I think he's a world-class player, but I think he's injury prone. And I think you can't be paying somebody 350 grand a week who If you look over the last 2 or 3 seasons, has missed 20 plus games a season through injury, if not more. So, I think it's the right decision. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Let's have a look. Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone who's joining me in the chat this morning. I wish, as I said earlier on the stream, I wish everybody a really, really great 2024. So really, really excited to spend this year with you all as well. So let's see where this channel can end up at the end of 2024. Keeping on the topic of contracts, let's talk a little bit about Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof. So the Victor Lindelof one has now been confirmed. Fabrizio Romano has said Manchester United have sent a formal letter to Victor Lindelof's camp to confirm they have activated the option to extend his contract. Lindelof now officially under contract at Manchester United until June 2025. He says the same is expected to happen with Hannibal and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I've got no issue with that at all, to be honest. I think, I don't think Lindelof's world class. I think he's a squad player. He's on 120 grand a week. He's on a third of what Varane's on. I think it makes sense to keep him till June 2025, and at that point you move him on. The other thing you have to think about with all of these scenarios is just because we extend their contract doesn't mean they'll still be here. We could easily still be selling them in the summer. It just means we retain their value, because if we hadn't have done this, Lindelof would be a free agent effectively in 6 months, and we could lose him for nothing. So, keeping Lindelof for, it's literally a year and a half. We've given him a year extension. He'll be a free agent in June next year. It's not very long. So I think that's a very, sensible thing to do. The same with Wan-Bissaka. Maybe we look to sell him in the summer. Again, he's only on 90 grand a week. I know it's a hell of a lot of money for me or you, but, in relation to footballers, 90,000 a week isn't that much money. And then obviously Hannibal is a youth prospect. He's only on 5 grand a week at the moment, Hannibal, which is pretty crazy. It looks like both of those two will be staying. Now, there's a bit of news about Johnny Evans. Now, I'll be honest with you, this story caught me by surprise, to be honest with you. And the headline this morning is that apparently Erik ten Hag is trying to extend Johnny Evans' contract by another year. I'm not sure about this personally. Johnny Evans has done very, very well since he's come in. And if Harry Maguire was going, I would say this is a good bit of business. Well done. But to think that we're going to probably see Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire as our centre-backs again, I don't know. It just doesn't fill me with much confidence. And it doesn't, it doesn't make me feel like we have much ambition. To have a 35-year-old who just got relegated with Leicester and then released as a free agent as your starting centre-back for a team that, what are our ambitions as a club? Is it top 4? Is it not even top 4 anymore? Erik ten Hag, in his own words, said that we overachieved last season and we finished 3rd. So if he thinks that finishing 3rd is overachieving, what would winning the title be? Would that be a miracle? Would it be... I guess it would be if he thinks finishing 3rd is overachieving. This is Erik ten Hag's exact words. This isn't me just, giving an opinion. Erik ten Hag said after the game against Nottingham Forest on the weekend, he said that Manchester United overachieved last season by finishing 3rd. So, if you base it on that, what is our expectation? Is it 5th, 6th, 7th? I don't know. And even then, to be honest with you, I don't think Johnny Evans would get into the Aston Villa team, would get into the Newcastle team, would get into the Tottenham team, He wouldn't get into any of these teams that are kind of knocking around the top 4 position. He's a good player. Obviously, he has won many, many trophies at Manchester United in his, 10 plus years ago. But to be giving people like this a new contract, I don't know. I just think it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest. And is that because we don't have much money? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Malp says the decline of this football club is accelerating. Qatar pulling out of the club was the final nail in the coffin. Fair enough. Sim says the ambition of this club is the European Super League. We're not going to join the Super League, mate. We're not. I know this club's at rock bottom, but I don't think we'll join the Super League. I just simply don't think that will happen. Right, let's talk a little bit about Jim Ratliff then. So we can confirm that Sir Dave Brailsford was at Carrington yesterday for the first round of meetings and conversations and stuff. Obviously, the transfer window opens today. So from what we're hearing today, is that Jim Ratliff is flying into Manchester this afternoon for what are being described as emergency meetings. Now, this could be about the manager, but I think it's probably more to do with players. I think it's to do with what they're going to do in the January window. Because United need to do a lot of business. They really, really do. You've got the problem of Jadon Sancho. Obviously, Donny van der Beek would have gone to Frankfurt today, so Donny will be gone. You've got the issues of, obviously, Jadon Sancho. You've got Anthony Martial, who I think is going to leave. He hasn't, he's been... I mean, I was going to say he's been a ghost for three weeks, but he hasn't really... He's been a ghost at United for about 3 years, isn't he, Anthony Martial? But Martial's apparently been injured for 3 or 4 weeks now. Sorry, not injured, sick. He's been ill. I think that they've been wrapping him up in cotton wool, and I think that they're going to try and get rid of him in January because they want to bring that wage bill down. That's the main issue here with Manchester United, is the wage bill. You've got Anthony Martial sat there on 250 grand a week, who doesn't contribute, let's be honest. You've got Jadon Sancho sat there playing FIFA till 4 a.m. on a game day on 375 grand a week, sending for the manager on Twitter and refusing to apologise. Jim Ratliff and Dave Brailsford have got their work cut out, and I'm glad that they are actually showing a bit of initiative. I know it's very, very early on. It's far too early to be, singing people's praises, but at least Sir Dave Brailsford has actually been going to the matches. Like, he was at the Aston Villa game, he was at the Nottingham Forest game, and I think that's a positive start, okay? Because how many times have we seen the Glazer family at United over the last 10 years? I mean, the only one I can remember is when we won the League Cup and you had Joel Glazer or Avram Glazer there, shaking all the players' hands, trying to take the credit for it. That was the only time. So the fact that Ineos are actually showing some initiative, before it's even been 100% confirmed that they're, have bought their stake, because the Premier League haven't even approved their 25% yet, but they're still there. They're still, getting on with stuff, and I think that is positive. So I'm happy about that. We'll have to wait and see what happens, though, in relation to this emergency meeting. We'll have to wait and see whether it means players are coming in, players are coming out. I will say this, though. I think, Reguilon's most likely going to go. Obviously, Sancho, who was the other one I just spoke about? Donny van der Beek's obviously going to go. Anthony Martial could potentially go. There could be as many as 4 or 5 players that leave in this window. And Manchester United will then need to bring in replacements. They will need to strengthen the squad. I know Erik ten Hag has said that he doesn't think we'll do much business in January, but I think he's basing that on the fact that at this moment in time, we don't know who's going to leave. But, if Donny goes, Martial goes, Sancho goes, maybe Reguilon goes back to Tottenham or goes on loan somewhere else. Like, that's 4 or 5 deals that will need people to replace them, if that makes sense. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But what I want you guys to do in the meantime is to get in the comments section and let me know what business you think we should be doing in January. Who do you think we should be letting go of? Who do you think we should bring in? Like, what is your kind of plan for the club in 2024? Fred says, do you think we can trust Ineos to sort this mess out? Mate, it's far too early to say, to be honest. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would say it's 50-50. I will say this, though. I don't think it can get any worse than how it has been managed over the last 18 years. I think that, Ineos are going to come in. They're going to be more ruthless. And I think that they will offer us something different to what the Glazers offered. Will it work? I don't know. Will we be winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues in the next 3 or 4 years? I don't think so personally, but will stuff improve a little bit? Will we stop handing out ridiculous contracts? Will the player power finally, go at Manchester United? Maybe. And that would be a first, positive step forwards. But we'll have to wait and see what happens here. It's very, very difficult to kind of look into the future with this one. Obviously, it's 50-50 for me. It is. It's 50-50. I don't by any means think that they're going to come in and we're going to immediately, be winning Premier League titles and be winning Champions Leagues and all the rest of it. Like, I just simply don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a long old battle to try and get the club back to a glimmer of where it was, in the Sir Alex Ferguson era. But we've just got to try and stay positive. There's no point getting overly negative about it. We are where we are. It is what it is, isn't it? And a new year, we need to try and go into this positively. Is Erik ten Hag the right man to take us to those levels? Maybe not. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. again, I don't know at this point. All I do know is that the most important thing for me is that we clear out most of this squad. I think we need to start from fresh. And I don't think that sacking a manager is the correct answer at this moment in time. I think we need to, clear out as many of these players as possible. Keep maybe 4 or 5 of the really, really good players or the good prospects, the Garnachos, the Kobe Mainus. I'd keep Ahmad, keep Pellistri, just because they still haven't not had a chance, really, have they? They need to have a chance. Obviously Lissandro Martinez as well. But most of the others, I'd be happy with most of the others going, to be honest. If big offers come in, I'm not saying release them as free agents. I'm saying if we can get money for the likes of, if we could get 100+ million for Bruno Fernandes, then you probably should take it, shouldn't you? If you could get big money for someone like Marcus Rashford, you probably should take it, shouldn't you? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I just hope that we're not, rewarding any of these players with new contracts and stuff. Like, by all means, trigger the option for a 1-year extension that's already part of their contract, but that's kind of it. Ruben says, Kieran, do you think Onana will go to Africa Cup of Nations because he is very worried about his position, doesn't play for the team or the logo, only thinking of himself and the name? Yeah, I think he is going to go, yeah. Apparently he's still going to stay for the Wigan game on Monday, a week today. But yeah, I think he will be going to Africa Cup of Nations, yeah. Kevin says, how about we bring Mason Greenwood back? I don't know, mate. We'll just have to wait and see what Ineos decide. I'll say this on Mason Greenwood. There's no doubt that he's our best attacking player, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%. Will Ineos make that their first point of call? I don't think so, personally. I think it will bring too much scrutiny. It will bring too many questions. It will create too much divide. I just simply don't think they'll do it. Whether you want him to come back or not is obviously your opinion, but already that proves my point. There'll be people in the chat who are like, I don't want him to ever play for United again. There'll be others who say I want him to. And I just simply don't think that Jim Ratliff's first, big decision will be, let's bring Mason Greenwood back. I think it'll be more likely that they try and sell him and reinvest that funds in someone else personally. But that's not what I'm saying I would like to do. That's just what I'm saying I think Ineos will do. Because yeah, I think it would create too much conversation, too many arguments, too much divide. Al says, shouldn't we sell Varane to Saudi? As I said, mate, I've said this to you guys many, many times before. I genuinely don't really feel any attachment to any of these players anymore. I don't. They've let us down too many times. When you look through the spine of that team that played against Nottingham Forest on the weekend, obviously you can't sell Onana now because no one's going to buy him, but Onana I would probably sell if we had the option to. Diogo Dalot, I probably would get rid of. Johnny Evans, I'd get rid of. Varane, if a big offer came in, I'd get rid of. Wan-Bissaka, I think it's good as a backup. Mainu, I'd keep. Eriksen, you get rid of. I mean, he's past his best, isn't he? Garnacho, obviously, you keep because he's young and he's, definitely a talent. Bruno, if, a mega offer came in, I would get rid of. Anthony, I'd get rid of. And Rashford, I'd get rid of, And it's not because I'm sat here saying, they're rubbish, we lost the game, boo-hoo. It's because I just don't think a lot of these players have the mentality to be Manchester United players. And I don't think any of them are untouchable anymore. They're not. They don't perform week in, week out. And I think based on that, if an offer came in for them, you have to think about it. It's not like you've got Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime sat there and you're doing everything you possibly can not to sell him because everybody loves the guy. Like, is there really anybody in this squad where you sit there and you think, we have a world-class player there where we know every single game they're going to give 150%, they're going to contribute, they're going to get an assist, they might get a goal. Like, we simply don't have a player like that. We don't. We haven't scored a goal for like 5 games before the Aston Villa game. Like, they're simply not performing, and based on that, I think none of them are untouchable. So, yeah. Big ups to Fred. He says, New Year, still the same great content. Thank you very much for your support, mate. I really, really do appreciate it. If anybody does want to join the members club or do a super chat, if you hit the $sign, you can do that. And big ups to Fred and to everybody who does support. I'll drop a link in the chat. I think I've still got the members club thing set up as 99p. So if you are in a position to do that, please do get involved. I think you can, yeah. Paul says, I think we need to build around our youth. Mate, I would agree with that. Definitely. I'll definitely agree with that 100%. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I hope everyone has a lovely New Year's Day, whatever you're up to. Obviously, it's a bank holiday here in the UK, so everybody will be off work. Have a good day, everybody. I hope, 2024 is a good year for you all. Thank you again for joining me this morning. Really, really excited to see where this channel goes in 2024. Have a lovely day, everybody. I will be back live later on. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video before you go. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.